What's going on, guys? It's Frito here for your Overwatch. The other tank reworks have stole the limelight in Overwatch 2 so far, but I was always the most excited about Winston. And turns out he may be the most stable, easy to play around mainstay tank in early Overwatch 2. While he still retains the ability to dive onto targets, the surprising thing that he gained is that with the increased shield health and long-range railgun attack, he also fits into a sniper almost bunker playstyle, affording him a ton of flexibility, a huge skill ceiling, and a lot of plays to make in the traditional main tank playstyle. The changes seem subtle, but the ramifications are big. We'll break it down further after this quick message. I've always been a fan of rewards programs. I think it's the gamer in me. That's why I'm so excited to tell you about today's video sponsor, Mana App, the debit rewards card for gamers. This is how it works. You use mana to buy things you were going to buy anyway, get points, and then use it in their store to get free stuff. I'm a big fan of this water bottle personally. It's quality. You can even earn points by playing some of your favorite games. Just link your gamer tag from League of Legends or Valorant, and you can earn points by playing. Free stuff for playing a video game? I mean, this is everyone's dream, isn't it? Mana App is MVB, bank member FDIC. Simple. It's a rewards debit card for gamers to use your real money to earn real perks. Product is launching this summer, and if you're interested, and you should be, you gotta take the link in the description to join the waitlist. And if you refer a friend, you can move up the waitlist and earn up to $109 in value in rewards points, as well as enter other exclusive giveaways. It's US only though, but if you're in the region, you're not gonna wanna miss out. Take the link in the description right now to check out Mana App. So although Winston so far hasn't won the meta lottery, I think probably the Reaper Zarya synergy is a bit too strong for him to muster, but we'll see. The Kickoff Clash tournament this week might prove to us the answer to that question, but undoubtedly Winston is a top tier tank. This first clip, I think, shows you the personality shift of your mentality of what you can even do as Winston in Overwatch 2. My team's running a sniper comp, so I'm looking to, rather than commit in, instead enforce the sniper angles and then punish aggression onto my snipers. Something key to remember is that because in Overwatch 2, the enemy gains less ult from shooting at you, and Winston has more armor health now, and of course there's one less enemy to shoot at you, poking your head out to snipe doesn't have too much of a punishment. You'll probably survive, you'll help charge your support ults, and when poking and prodding, you might find that there's a low HP target that you can commit on, either from your damage or from your team's. This limb on the enemy Widowmaker is a proud example of me trying to master the Winston combo new tech. Charging up the railgun to bear as you're diving, hitting it, switching over to primary fire on the way down, sneaking in the melee cancel before the point of impact of the jump pad landing, then getting that damage on top of it, all that burst landing into a 200 HP squishy. Remember, this is the Widowmaker from Overwatch 2. She has 200 health, not 175. You land this much damage quickly without healing, those targets go down instantly. While this mechanic doesn't feel as reliable to do as the more easy to obtain kills, I think, from characters like Orisa and Doomfist, who seemingly just have buttons that insta-kill things on accident. With a little bit of finesse, you get a similar amount of squishy pickoff potential from Winston, but also just a ton of frontline presence. Remember, this is attached to a character that also has a big shield for the team to use, which is an absolute nightmare when you're denying sightlines from characters like Ana or snipers or anybody that wants to shoot, really. The new playstyle of Winston means you're going to have to be a lot more thoughtful of where you put those bubbles down so that they maximize impact for the team. But when you do so, you can kind of calm down and assess the nature of the fight inside that bubble. Whereas in Overwatch 1, oddly enough, despite most people saying Overwatch 2 plays faster, well, I think the Overwatch 1 Winston playstyle required you to play much faster because you needed to channel the cooldowns onto your face repeatedly. Whereas now, as a more self-sufficient character, you can select the engagement, hold your space for a bit, manipulate it, decide if it's going your way or not, and then get the heck out of there. The 5-second leap cooldown makes sure this is almost a guarantee that you can get out, or even add a bit of extra damage if you are going to commit in and stay inside your bubble longer. I'll decide based on the Kickoff Clash tournament this week whether or not I'll make a follow-up video showing all the awesome pro examples of Winston gameplay so far, because already in the qualifiers, there's been lots of great Winston play. We'll see how that pans out first, but the thing that makes me so happy about this playstyle is that in Overwatch 2, when we were first playing it, it felt like a struggle to find characters that I could slow the game down with and be more strategical, because there's just so many hero shooter things flying around. Well, it turns out those things still exist in the game, and Winston's one of the best picks for that playstyle because he has the stats to survive, to read the positioning, hold an engagement, and have the options to interact with it. Funnily enough, at a high level of play, one of the weakest aspects of Winston was that he could easily get poked out at range before he could dive. So although in theory, Winston jumping on like a Widowmaker would advantage him normally, at higher levels when the Widows are dominating the sightlines and hit him in the head every time as he closes the distance, well, he'll be at half health before he can do so. But now, with a railgun, he can shoot back and soften you up to at least a quarter of your HP before he even closes the distance. And that is significant. It was a bit surprising because high-level players were giving feedback to Blizzard that the Winston rework was really weak, so they made his alternate fire more ammo efficient so that you more easily could do it, and they buffed his bubble. So with the combo of those things, Winston pretty easily fell into the category of the most reliable main tank archetype, where he has the mobility to dive in with flankers, but also the bunker sniper playstyle of like old Orisa from Overwatch 1, somewhere in between that. It's like if Orisa also could dive. Now, I've got a pro example to explain this for you. This is from the second week of gameplay, keeping in mind that at this time, it was still believed that Doomfist was a top pick. Atlanta Reign were 2-0, going up against Washington, who's a very passive team anyway. But as you'll see here, just look at how the entire team is positioned with Winston. Everyone on their own individual crossfires, including Winston. The Doomfist comp needs to go aggressive. It needs to draw aggro to power up the gauntlet and land Doomfist's abilities to stun squishies to confirm kills. Washington, knowing this, can play safely around corners, baiting in an engagement and poking all the way. This is very similar to the mechanics of a rushdown comp versus a poke-based comp from Overwatch 1. When you know the enemy has to engage onto you to win, you want to play keep away and leverage your ranged advantage, which is just a weird thing to say. Winston's a ranged character now, but especially against characters like Orisa or Doomfist that need to close the distance really to get value on your team. Well, if everybody plays back and shoots, over time you should win because you have more range than them, assuming you position to dodge the engage. Some of you have asked for a video explaining how to play the push game mode, and I think we will make that closer to the next beta, but this pro gameplay kind of shows you how it's been solved a bit, where this mid fight or the neutral fight for the first control of the bot is utterly important. So important, I think you might even say you should build your team comp to win that fight, regardless of the rest of them, because as long as you do, you should have the ultimates in order to gain an advantage that should win push anyway. Funnily enough with push, it's evolved to be very defensive and slow, where you want to gain an advantage on the robot and then camp it and not die. Early Overwatch 2 gameplay, it looked like a frantic frenzy, but I think that was just us all learning how to play. Since that time, slow, more methodical, let's say tactical or strategic gameplay that we were used to from Overwatch 1 is rising in the 5v5 form the more we learn about the game. And because of that, I think there's a good chance that Winston stays as like the easiest to play around tank, because I don't know if he's offensively broken enough to get a nerf, and he has so many options. I think he's going to remain consistent for a while. The last part of Winston in Overwatch 2 is what he retains from Overwatch 1. He's a great dive character to enable DPS. Teamwork is still king in Overwatch 2, and now with the ping system, it's very intuitive and easy to tell your team where you're going to be going ahead of time. I love this so much. I purposefully, in the beta, was trying not to comm and just use the ping system as much as I could and see if I could get my team to engage around me. And thanks to it targeting locations on the map and the different pings that you can use, and I think I will make a guide on my approach to this as well separately, but what you can do is give your team forewarning of what you're intending to do ahead of time visually on the map without having to explain, no, not that high ground, the other high ground. What's that house called again? Oh, that's the bank? Or is that the hotel? Or is it the, the callouts of this game are kind of difficult. Not a lot of people know them. So this is the aspect of Winston that is the most main tank-like. Winston still has that ability as a main tank to set the engagement. And if you've watched our Winston guides throughout the years and are an experienced player yourself, you may even see the thought process going into the planning. And the cycle is kind of straightforward, where you hold a vantage point or a staging point, pre-dive, poke to manipulate the positioning, look for an out of position target, and then commit. And it used to be in Overwatch 1 without a railgun, Winston didn't contribute to the poke at all. So he's just sort of waiting. That's one cool thing about Overwatch 2 was the strategy was based on your team had to do a thing to enable you to do your thing. The teamwork isn't gone in Overwatch 2. It's just that Winston also contributes in that setup portion of the fight. And his role isn't based on his off-tank following him constantly or his DPS taking better angles. He can lead the charge in that, which is what is making tank so much fun to play in Overwatch 2 so far. I think a lot of us were afraid that with the directions of Orisa and Doomfist being reworked, that the game would just feel like a big fragathon with no strategy, and I just don't think that's even close to true. I think it has all those benefits, it's just more fun to play. Gee, I can't wait until we get to play it again, can you? I look forward to the new heroes and strategies that they'll add to the game, I think especially with more variations at support and further balancing. We'll start to remember that it's the aim of the devs to have a lot of playstyles and team comps have a place in the game. And to the devs' credit, Overwatch 2 so far has been much harder to solve than I originally thought it would be. Even though our transition into Overwatch 2.0 is slower than we would have liked, I'm hyped to see what they're going to do next. But that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this one, please be sure to leave it a like and hit subscribe and the bell icon to actually get notified when our new videos come out. Support the channel by supporting our sponsors. Click the link in the description right now to join the Mana app waitlist. Get perks for things you would buy anyway. Game the system. We got the hookup for you in the link below. I've been Frito for your Overwatch. We'll see you guys next time.